Well, howdy ho, good neighbor. Today, we're flying over to the Oakland glass plant for the last and final phase. That's correct, you did not mishear me. The final phase of the Oakland glass plant has begun demolition. So that big building that you see right in front of you has finally begun to come down. Someday this will be an empty lot, but today this building is in its way from becoming that lot. So you can see here, they started eating this elephant in the back. That's right. They started at the back door. And that's where they started eating this elephant. So sometimes you wonder, how can we eat an elephant? And they say one bite at a time. So you think a building this big would be hard to take down. And you might even get discouraged, but I think right now their hopes and their attitudes are high because they finally are getting to the last and final phase of this Oakland glass plant demolition. I've been waiting a long time for them to get to this building, and now the day is finally here. So it's not the big smokestacks yet, and hopefully I'll be able to get that on camera. I don't know. But today, like I said, it is the back of the Oakland glass plant. And again, you can see this dust is just going opposite of the water. But I do not want to make this a dust control video. I want to make this video about the memories of the people who worked at the glass plant. There's been a few comments about how sad it is to see this place come down. Some people have left comments saying all the relationships and friendships that have just been torn down with a scoop of a shovel. And they're right. How many friends have been and co-workers have become friends, and maybe in the old days, relationships, husbands and wives. Believe it or not, back in the old days, people used to meet at work and have relationships. And hopefully it worked, because a lot of times if it doesn't work, well, it's really awkward at work. So, but back in the day, you would meet and fall in love at work. So how many people met and fell in love at the Oakland glass plant? We will never know. But I guarantee you a couple friendships and relationships have developed here. It is sad to see this place go. But you can see here, there's the last bit of this elephant. Well, I always forget to take these down shots, so I got a couple of them in this video. But they really did not have as many people working on this as I thought they would. But I think they have to be extra careful with this main building. Not only for the dust control, but only for the structure. We do not want things falling on people. So that's why they started in the back, I'm sure. But I tell you what I did see when this guy was moving this pipe around. There's a couple clips in here. I used my super zoom. That's right. Oh, and by the way, every time you see me pulling up like this real fast, like this move, this is because I was losing connection on my drone. So my drone was saying, hey, you don't have any signal. So I would have to rocket up super high and get my signal back. So you might see that once or twice in the videos, but it sure does make for a pretty shot to see the beautiful estuary and the San Leandro Bay. But there's just piles separated into smaller piles, from bricks to concrete to, believe it or not, a fire sprinkler pipe. That's what you're looking at right here. You see all that black dust? You can see I got excited when I saw that big old backhoe moving fire sprinkler pipe. Believe it or not, that's a big old chunk of 4-inch main. I can tell from this high in the air. So he's just dragging that out, and when he finds a good piece of metal, well, he picks it out and he saves it in a separate pile. That's what he's doing right there. He's got an old fire sprinkler line and he's moving that to the side. So it's a delicate dance of separating the good from the bad. So you'll always see the guy pick out the metal. So there's a big chunk of 4-inch pipe. You see it. And this is where I started getting excited, because I was like, is that a piece of fire sprinkler pipe? I don't know. But then the evidence was clear. The more I zoomed in, the more I could see that that is a big piece of fire sprinkler main. And as soon as he dropped it on the ground and that black junk came out the back end, you can see the branch line swinging from the end. So when you see that branch line swinging from the end, you know it was a tailback. Well, there you go. Isn't that funny? Some old Union fire sprinkler fitter stuck that fire sprinkler in, whoa, I want to say back in the 30s. And this building was built in the 30s and 40s, so imagine a world war happening in the world, and you're building a glass plant. But yeah, I wanted to see this whole part of this building come down, but like I said, he works slow, so he never did get to that point. I thought if I was tearing this building down, I would just take down one big column like a baseball bat, but you can't really do that. Everything is slow and deliberate. After I've watched these guys a few times, I realize that they are in no hurry. And I can understand why, because as soon as this job's done, well, where do you go? You don't want to sit at home. Boy, I tell you what, if you don't have a job and you've sat at home for a while, I can understand why these guys do not want to hurry up and finish this. But on the other hand, they can't hurry up and finish it because safety is first. This world lives for safety. They've shut down the whole world for safety. And I'm sure there's some kind of inspector here watching them saying, hey, you're moving a little too fast there. Well, right here, I like to see him scoop out a big pile of junk. And I tried to get as low as I can go without losing signal, but there's a big metal building between me and the car, so I can only get so low. So it looks like he found some more fire sprinkler pipe. He's trying to grab it. So for some reason, I find that just so fascinating There's the old 90. You can see a Vic 90 on that pipe. So I'm sorry I get so excited about seeing that fire sprinkler pipe, but I install that stuff, so of course I'm going to get excited. I tell you what though, you're not going to get too much money for scrap. That stuff's not worth a lot of money. Now, if that was brass pipe, I can understand, but that old steel pipe, that ain't worth a lot of money. I tell you what, you can see that black water that's been dried up come out the end of it. It is just so funny to see that. Well, look at the amount of room that this place is going to have. I tell you what, it's just acres and acres of buildings. So this is just going to be a video series that I'm going to continue to do since it's so close to my home. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing to see a glass plant being torn down. Now, I tell you what, the funny thing is I've had a couple people watch these videos and say thank you for documenting this. And I've had some people say, how dare you document this? So you can't make everybody happy in this world. And I've come to find that making YouTube videos. And the more subscribers you get, the more harsh people are. Seems like people like to hate for some reason, and we call them keyboard warriors because they're probably nice people, but kind of like road rage. People who get into road rage are probably nice people. Something happens to people. What makes people snap and judge other people's videos and tell them, how dare you make this video? I don't know. You know that option of you can always turn it off? Well, just turn it off. And you don't have to say something mean. If you don't have something nice to say, then why say it at all? I think people want a reaction. That's what they want. They want me to react to their mean comments. But I will not do it. I forgive them. As Christ my Savior, I forgive you, and I forgive your evil ways and your bad comments. And for all you who leave the nice comments, well, thank you. God bless you. But I've caught myself saying dumb things myself, and I don't like that about me. But look at all that brick, all chopped up. What do you do with chopped up brick and chopped up concrete? Do you make more brick? I don't know. But that's what's left, a complete 360 of what they got and what they got left. I don't see a lot of trucks disposing of these piles. So that's a slow-moving process also. A lot of piles just sitting there, blowing in the wind, as they say. Well, while I was there was a water truck driving around getting everything wet, so that was nice to see. And I'm sure the neighbors do appreciate that. But yet, what I forgot to say in this video is someday when this is all torn down, the work is not done. Before they even build on this property, they need to tear out all that concrete they're driving on. That's right, the foundation needs to come down. So what we're seeing here is him tearing down like big lockers, it looks like. Like this must have been the locker room for all the workers. So he's just pushing those lockers around. Or filing cabinets, but there's something he just took out in one fell swoop. But it's going to be interesting for him to take down that brick building right there that the water is spraying on. So I'm just going to keep keep an eye out on this building. Now, unfortunately, or I should say fortunately, I've been very busy at work. So I haven't been able to come by here after work. And you really don't want to film this when there's no activity. I mean, I could, but boy, doesn't these backhoes and demolition crew, that makes a video. If this was just an empty lot, well, that wouldn't be no fun. Well, I just wanted to take a little shot at this neighborhood that's going to be affected by this construction for years to come. They've already been affected for at least a couple years with the plant shutting down and all the equipment being moved out. And then for the last year, the plant has been being under demolition. And now all these people in this house have another couple years of construction. And boy, is it going to be loud having those jackhammers constantly hammer because of that foundation, all that concrete over there. So these poor people that live next to the freeway, I'm sure they're used to the freeway noise, but if you've ever heard a jackhammer jack out concrete, it is the loudest and most annoying thing ever. So all that concrete before your eyes has got to be busted out piece by piece and trucked out truck by truck. So this place is far from over, far from over. And the only thing that's holding this crew back from jackhammering the foundation is that beauty. That's right. Look at those 3 smokestacks. Just like the Titanic, they're going to come down and sink into the ground. And I wonder if they're going to explode it. What are you going to do? Are you going to crash your drone? Whoa, stop. Watch out for that tree, George of the jungle. My goodness. That was close. Oh, no, you're not. You are not going to fly under that train trestle. Oh, joy. I'm going to do it. And I know there's birds underneath here that can take me out. There's one there. Oh, my goodness. That's right. My battery was dying, so I had to come in and get another battery before I end this video. I got a little left, but before I come and get a battery, I thought I'd show you. Look at this old schooner. Imagine flying around the world. Sailing around the world on that blue beauty. That's right. I think that's somebody's house now. So if you ever want to live on a boat, you better not have too many belongings, because there is no storage for anything. So that's almost a good thing nowadays. We just have too much material stuff. I mean, just look around. Speaking for myself, I cannot throw anything away. We live in a material world, like Madonna says. So it's just one of those things where I need to learn to get rid of stuff. But look at all these people. They have the same problem. They probably have a storage unit where they go and visit their boxes of things they can't get rid of. So I can't be too hard on myself, because the storage unit in this country has gone crazy. Every time I go down the freeway, there's another storage unit being built. And whoa, watch out for that tree. Boy, a lot of close calls on this video, wouldn't you think? Well, right here, this is my secret spot where I've been taken off from, and I really enjoy it because it's the safety of Alameda. So I stuck in my another battery, and I flew back over to the glass plant for another, I guess we'll call this the end of the day video. That's right. I knew I was just getting off of work, so I knew these guys were just getting off of work. And believe it or not, they work till 4 o'clock. So, yeah, they must get here early, and that's a full day. But I don't think they can start until 8. That's what it is. That's why they work till 4, because of all those neighbors over there. They can't really be banging their shovels at 7 a.m. So that makes sense why they start it or end at 4. So that's what I'll do. I'll just keep an eye out for this place and see how long I can get over here. But the glass plant is gone from corner to corner. And these people, like I said, got another couple years of noise and dust. So you feel for the neighbors, but you are happy for the people that are getting work out of all that scrap metal. Believe it or not, even people in China are getting work out of this old glass plant, because that's where all this metal is going to go. So the old glass plant will eventually make its way to China, because we do not scrap metal here. We send it all overseas. So hopefully the tariffs will bring up some more industry back here to America, but I don't know. I don't know nothing about any of that politics and tariffs and world economics. I just know that it's out of my control. So I just try to be grateful for my health. And if you have your health, you have wealth, because they say a rich man only wishes for one thing if he's sick, and that's his health. You can't pay for good health. So if you have it, be grateful. I know it's easy to say, easy to take advantage or take, but if you have your health, you have your wealth. Even though people want more wealth. Well, it looks like my signal was going dead. So here's another shot where I just drove up to the stars to get my signal back. And this is the beginning of the video where I got my drone battery in. And you got to remember, when you go fly over there, there's some wires over there that are invisible. So you got to get almost as high as the trestle. So be careful flying this drone over wires, because a wire will take out your drone. All right, well, we are just almost done with this video, but before I leave you, I'm going to give you one last look at the guys ending their day and what they have left. So there it is. When you used to pull into the old glass plant, there's the old guard shack, or what I like to call the jack shack. That's right, there's the jack shack. When you used to pull in, the guards would check you in from the old jack shack in the back. Yeah, their jack shack was in the back. Most jack shacks are in the front. But that's what's left. Look at it. Going, gone. So by the next time I get here, I'm sure that brick building will be dust. I want to see the smokestacks come down, but I'm always grateful to see anything come down. But as you can see here, they're done tearing things up for the day. And it doesn't look like he ever did get to that column that I was waiting for. But I thought this was neat, that they get an old I-beam, and they use this I-beam as basically a rake. So they will make a big puddle of water, what I'm trying to say, and they just kind of use their backhoe as a rake. So I thought that was kind of genius. But there's the guys in their little, I guess, gang boxes. That's where they all eat their lunch and gather in the morning at those blue tents. So everybody's got a gathering spot. You can see the trucks wheeling them into the... Everybody's saying, come bring them on in, boys. Bring them on in. So I just wonder if they have to be quiet at a certain time. I know you can't make noise. But do they have a shut-off time? Like you can't make noise after 5, I imagine. Yeah, people don't want to hear that during their dinner. But there's a good close-up. I use my old zoomer lens. You see how he has an I-beam? And he's just moving that water around, controlling the dust and scraping up all the nails and particles. Cleaning up for the next day. It's always nice to tidy up before you leave at night. So there's that old sweeper. So there's a sweeper and a water truck and a couple demo guys that do this job. At one time they had a whole crew here, but it looks like the crew has gotten a lot smaller. Well, I tell you what, if this thing doesn't come down by the next time I see you, I'll keep filming it. That's the best I can do for you. Like I said, there's a couple lockers left, so he's saving work for tomorrow. But I'm going to keep documenting this thing because it is history. And if you ever worked here, well, my hat's off to you. You probably know exactly where I'm filming. Well, I'll end this video with a little close-up of the offices that you probably won't see anymore. And I don't even know if those were offices, but when you have lockers, you'll usually have locker rooms and offices nearby. Well, there you go. The Oakland glass plant final phase. I guess you would call that phase 6. You know what? We're going to call this phase 7. That's right, because phase 6 was that big building in the back. And phase 7, well, that just sounds better, doesn't it? Phase 7 has begun. The last phase of the Oakland glass plant. So, when I see you next time, well, all this will be gone. Not all of it, but most of it. Hopefully, like I said, I'll get to see those smokestacks come down. Well, I've rambled on enough, so I think I'll end this video with one last look at all these acreage. But I always want to thank you guys for even watching these silly videos, you know, and if you watch this long listening to me ramble, well, thank you again for doing that, because it's not easy rambling this long. I guess what I do after some of these long videos is I'll make music videos out of it and make a 2-for-1. So you might see this video in the future with music on it. That's what I do. I gotta use up every bit to the bone, as they say. So there you go. That's what's left. And I can't wait to see those smokestacks come down. Well, it's back to my little safety of Alameda. A lot safer than Oakland. So that's why I fly over here. Well, as always, I'd like to thank you again for coming along with me on these Phase 7. That's a lot of phases of the Oakland glass plant recycling Center demolition. Easy for me to say. All right, everybody. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody. Didn't I already say that? I think I've already said bye-bye, everybody. How many times do you going to say bye-bye, everybody?